बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। श्रीमद सद्गुरु सरकार की जय। राधा रानी की जय। Devotees, just our clasp hands together, close eyes, sit up straight and try to focus our mind. Meditate on the Supreme Lord and the spiritual masters who seek their blessings, their guidance and protection. Focus on mind. Prathamam Sadgurum Vande Shri Krishnam Tadanantaram Guru Papatmana Trata Shri Krishnas Tvamalatmana Ahovakiyam Stanakalakutam Jighansaya Payayadapya Sadhvi Lebhe gatim dhatruchitam tatonyam Kamvadayalum sharanam brajem Namah Kamalna Bhaye Namah Kamal Maline Namah Kamal Padaye Namaste Kamalekshana Yo Brahmanam Virdhati Purvam Yo Vaivedansha Prahinoti Tasmai Tagvang Hadevam Atma Buddhi Prakasham Mumukshurvai Sharanamaham Prapadye बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। श्रीमद सद्गुरु सरकार की जय। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। आदरणीय पूजनीय पंडितगण, विप्र मंडली, प्रिय सज्जनों, प्रिय भक्त समुदाय, महानुभाव, most worshipable Pandits, Pandit Satyananda Maharaj, Pandit Chaitra Maharaj, other Pandits, dearest devotees of the Supreme Lord, the Divine Souls. First, let me say Radhe Radhe to each and every one, and my pranam, my humblest prostrations to all of you. A very special welcome, Radhe Radhe and pranam also to our viewers on Bhakti TV, who are also viewing us live simultaneously. Very special thanks to Pandit Satyananda Maharaj of the Satya Ananda Ashram and producer of Bhakti TV, through whose kind courtesy we are able to see throughout the world this live broadcast. We begin tonight with Bhajan Kirtan. The booklets you have, page 18. This bhajan speaks about Radha Rani, written by Jagat Guru Tam Shri Kripalu Mahaprabhu. That Radha Rani, who is none different from Shri Krishna himself, Shri Krishna himself is other form, Radha Rani. But it's so special that Shri Krishna himself worships Radha Rani. Param dhan Radhe naam adhar. Param dhan Radhe naam adhar. Kotin roop धरे नंद नंदन ताऊ न पायो पार परम धन राधे नाम आधार. Radha Rani, Param Dhan, supreme divine treasure. The name Radha. Shri Krishna took uncountable forms to find out about Radha Rani. Even then he could not. So this bhajan is about that O Radha Rani who lives in Barsana. Her divine abode is called Barsana. Who is very, very simple. Bhori, bhari hai. Very innocent hearted. And very pyari, very beautiful. That Radha Rani, I sing her glories, all glories to her. Sukumari pyari Radhe, vari vari pyari Radhe. Radha Rani is very, very gentle. Sukumari, she is also a princess, daughter of King Vrishabhanu and Mother Kirti. I offer all my obeisances, offer everything to her. Vadi Vadi. Completely surrender to her. Nathvadi Pyari Radhe. She wears a nose ring. What differentiates Radha Rani? Shri Krishna has a peacock feather. Radha Rani has nut. A nose ring, wrong. That's connected from the nose to the air. It's called a nut. So she's known as Nathavari, the one who wears that beautiful nut, nose ring. Shri Krishna Mora Mukutavare, he has the peacock feather. She's very, very beautiful. Piya Pyari Pyari Radhe, Balihari Pyari Radhe. I sacrificed myself, Balihar, to Radha Rani, who is Piya Pyari. Piya means Shri Krishna. She is the beloved, loved very dearly by Shri Krishna. Banavari Vari Radhe, Brajanari Vari Radhe. Shri Krishna himself sacrifices himself on Radha Rani. The gopis of Vrindavan, they also sacrifice themselves on Radha Rani. Atihi Kripalu Radhe, Maname Basale Radhe. Kripalu Mahaprabhu says, Radha Rani is extremely merciful. She is extreme ocean of mercy. And she lives in the heart, within the heart of all. She lives in the heart, especially those who worship and love her. बरसाने वाली राधे भूरी भारी पारी राधे बरसाने ओ बरसाने वाली राधे भूरी भारी प्यारी राधे बरसाने बरसाने वाली राधे, गोरी भारी प्यारी राधे, सुकुमारी प्यारी राधे, वारी वारी प्यारी राधे,
सुकुमारी प्यारी राधे, वारी वारी प्यारी राधे।
ओ सुकुमारी प्यारी राधे, वारी वारी प्यारी राधे, ओ वारी वारी प्यारी राधे, ओ बरसाने वाली राधे, गोरी भारी प्यारी राधे, बरसाने वाली नथवारी प्यारी राधे, प्यारी 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 राधे,
नथवारी प्यारी राधे, प्यारी प्यारी राधे,
नथवारी प्यारी राधे, प्यारी 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 राधे,
नथवारी प्यारी राधे, प्यारी प्यारी
प्यारी राधे, ओ बरसाने वाली राधे, गोरी भारी प्यारी राधे,
बरसाने वाली राधे, गोरी भारी प्यारी राधे,
पिय प्यारी प्यारी राधे, बलिहारी प्यारी राधे,
पिय प्यारी प्यारी राधे, बलिहारी प्यारी राधे,
ओ बलिहारी प्यारी राधे,
बलिहारी प्यारी राधे,
पिय प्यारी प्यारी राधे, बलिहारी प्यारी राधे, राधे,
बलिहारी प्यारी राधे,
ओ बरसाने वाली राधे, गोरी भारी प्यारी राधे,
बरसाने वाली राधे, गोरी भारी प्यारी राधे,
प्यारे ते प्यारी राधे, प्राणों ते प्यारी राधे,
प्यारे ते प्यारी राधे, प्राणों ते प्यारी राधे,
ओ प्राणों ते प्यारी राधे,
प्राणों ते प्यारी राधे,
प्यारे ते प्यारी राधे, प्राणों ते प्यारी राधे,
प्यारे ते प्यारी राधे, प्राणों ते प्यारी राधे,
बरसाने वाली राधे, गोरी भारी प्यारी राधे,
बरसाने
राधे,
गोरी भारी प्यारी राधे,
ओ बनवारी बनवारी वारी राधे, ब्रजनारी वारी राधे,
बनवारी
बरसाने वाली राधे, थोड़ी भारी प्यारी राधे,
बरसाने वाली राधे, थोड़ी भारी प्यारी राधे,
अति ही कृपालु राधे, मन में बसा ले राधे,
अति कृपालु राधे, मन में बसा ले राधे,
मेरे मन में बसा ले राधे, मेरे मन
में बसा ले राधे,
अति ही कृपालु राधे, मन में बसा ले राधे,
अति कृपालु राधे, मन में बसा ले राधे,
बरसाने वाली राधे, थोड़ी भारी प्यारी राधे,
बरसाने वाली राधे, थोड़ी भारी प्यारी राधे,
ओ राधे गोविंद राधे, राधे गोविंद राधे,
राधे गोविंद राधे, राधे गोविंद राधे,
ओ राधे गोविंद राधे, राधे गोविंद राधे,
राधे गोविंद
राधे
राधे गोविंद राधे,
राधे गोविंद राधे, राधे गोविंद राधे,
राधे गोविंद राधे, राधे गोविंद राधे,
ओ राधे गोविंद राधे,
राधे गोविंद राधे,
ओ राधे गोविंद राधे,
राधे गोविंद राधे,
ओ राधे गोविंद राधे,
राधे गोविंद राधे,
राधे गोविंद राधे, राधे गोविंद राधे,
राधे गोविंद राधे, राधे गोविंद राधे,
ओ राधे गोविंद राधे, राधे गोविंद राधे,
राधे गोविंद राधे, राधे गोविंद राधे,
राधे गोविंद राधे, राधे गोविंद राधे,
राधे गोविंद राधे, राधे गोविंद राधे।
बोल राधा कृष्ण भगवान की जय, राधा रानी की। We have so many cravings in the world. We always craving something or the other. Desires. We are overwhelmed with desires. And this desire is told to be the most dangerous disease of the mind. In the Ramayana, the famous Katha Sapta Prashna, Kakbasundji Maharaj was asked 7 important questions by Guruji Maharaj. One of the questions was about diseases of the mind, Manasa Rog. And Kag Basundaji outlined all of them, many of them, not all but many. And he says, मानस रोग कछुक में गाए है सबके लग बिरल पाए जय राम श्री राम जय जय मानस रोग कछुक में गाए है सबके लखी बिरलन ही पाए. Kag Basundaji is saying to Guruji Maharaj, oh Guruji, there are many, many diseases of the mind. I've told you only a few. Greed, anger, jealousy, hatred, lust, desire, selfishness, many, many. और and है सबके. Everyone in the world who are under the control of Maya, material beings, have all the diseases of the mind, all. है सबके. But lakhi biralan hi paaye. It's extremely difficult for us who are under Maya to see how bad our mind is, how bad we are. The diseases of the mind. Everybody thinks I'm a very good person. Our ego will not allow us to see our reality. The more we think I am great, I am such a wonderful person, I'm better than everybody, the more ego we have. We may not have anything in the world, but we are filled with the ego thinking I am so great. I am such a wonderful person. And all the diseases of the mind, desire, kamana, is told to be the most dangerous disease. If a person can give up desires, there will be nothing left for him to do. No gyan, no karma, no bhakti, no yoga, nothing. He would have attained everything. Nisim Bhagavan has Prahlad sitting on his lap after he killed Hiranyakashipu. He says to Prahlad, my beta, varam bruhi. My child, Prahlad, asks me for a boon. Prahlad said, Maharaj, मैं बनिक नहीं हूं, मैं दास हूं. दास अगर स्वामी से कुछ मांगते हैं तो वो दास कहां है फिर? Prahlad said, my lord, I am not a businessman. I am your servant. If a servant demands from the master, asks the master for something, then where is he a servant anymore? We are constantly begging and demanding from Bhagavan. Bhagavan said, ठीक है. It's all right. But it's my nature, Bhagavan says, that when I meet someone, my devotee, I always tell them to ask for something. ये हमारा nature है, स्वभाव है. तो आपको भी मांगना पड़ेगा. So you also have to ask. Prahlad said, okay, you're my master. Meri Swami hai. If you insist that I should ask, then this is what I ask for. Yadirami shame kaman varanstam vardarshabha kamanam hridya sandoham bhavatastu vrinevaram. Bhagavad Mahapuran 7 Canto 10th chapter 7th verse. Prahlad says, my Lord, since you insist that I should ask for a boon, then give me the boon that my desire to ever ask you for anything be destroyed forever. Let me never ask you for anything. Bhagwan ka bolna band kiya. He made Bhagwan become quiet. Bhagwan taught chota sa ladka, a very small boy, just about 5 years old, but his intellect. He's so intelligent because he had the right guru, Naraji. But why is desire so dangerous? What does desire do? Bhagwan asks Prahlad. Prahlad says, you don't know. Yeah, I know. But your answer will help worldly people, worldly souls. So Prahlad said, Indriyani manah prana atma dharmo dhitir mati hri shri tejas smritis satyam yas nashanti janmana. Bhagavad Mahapuran 7 Canto 10 chapter 8 verse. Prahlad says to Bhagwan, listen Bhagwan, to God, the birth of one desire causes harm to so many things. The energy of the senses, Indriya. The energy of the mind, Man. The energy of the Pran, the life force. The energy of the Atma, the soul. These are the four main pillars. Other things get harmed also. Patience, righteousness, reasoning, modesty, self-esteem, and even knowledge of the scriptures. Knowledge of the scriptures? But I have read Gita, Ramayana, Bhagavad, Ved. That's theoretical knowledge, book knowledge. Practical knowledge gets destroyed. Desire makes a person a beggar, bhikari. Desire for money makes one bow to the wishes of a rich person, even though you know he is wrong. Desire for a woman or man makes you bow to the wishes of that woman or man. And desires are only 5. पांच प्रकार की कामनाएं हैं. शब्द, स्पर्श, रूप, रस, गंध. Shabd, desire to hear. If you're a devotee, you want to hear katha. You want to hear about Bhagwan, about the saint. And if you're like us, worldly souls, you only want to hear gossip. Gossip. Who do this and who do that, and worldly things, politics. Shabd, sparsh, desire to touch, to feel. Desire to touch the murti, to touch the saint, or desire to touch worldly things, people. Roop, desire to see. To look at the murti of Bhagwan, to look at the beautiful picture of the saint, the guru, or to look at worldly boy, girl, etc. Dog, cat. People get a lot of pleasure looking at their pet dog, their pet cat, pet parrot, pet frog nowadays also. All kinds of pet. Snake, alligator. In America, alligator is mostly found in South Florida, in America, Florida, etc. Sometimes they catch alligator in North Minnesota, utmost north, in a stream, in a pond. Someone had a pet alligator, it got too big, flush him down the toilet or something. He goes in a pond and grew. Ras, desire to taste. Prasad, fruits that is offered to Bhagwan, food that's offered to Bhagwan. No. The thing I can get in the restaurant, etc. Gandh, desire to smell. The perfume, the flowers after the lotus feet of the Lord, or to smell things in the bottle, etc. Different things in bottle, different kind of bottle. We have 5 sense organs, only 5. Panch indriya. And desires of these 5 sense organs. We cannot have a 6th desire. These desires are very powerful. Mahabalwan hai. A person of uncontrolled senses cannot control the desire for carnal desires and so falls into the greatest darkness. Kuranga matanga patanga bhringa meenahata panchabireva pancha eka pramadi sakatham nahanyate yah sevate panchabireva pancha. Sukti. The moth. There's an insect called a moth. It gets attracted by light. The moth's desire for light causes it to fall into the flame and die. The deer's desire for sound. The hunter plays kind of flute and the deer gets attracted. Causes his death. The bee succumbs to the desire for sweet smell. It goes into the lotus flower. The flower closes in and the bee dies. The fish's desire for taste gets caught in the hook. And the elephant meets his end owing to the desire for the she-elephant. These poor innocent creatures meet their end trying to satisfy the desire related to one sense organ. What then shall be the deplorable state of the person who is ravaged and tormented by all the 5 sensual desires, the 5 senses? Bhagwan Shri Krishna gives a very vivid description in Bhagavad Mahapuran. He says to Uddhav, Jivai katum apakarshati karhi tarsha Shishno nyatasta gudaram shravanam kutashit Grano nyatascha paradik kvacha karma shaktir Bhavya sapatnai vage hapatim lunanti. Bhagavad Mahapuran, 9th canto, 11th canto, 9th chapter, 27 verse. Shri Krishna compares the 5 desires that we have, the 5 senses, the 5 desires, to a man having 5 wives. 1 wife, he has 5 wives. Just as each wife will try her level best to attract and possess the husband to herself, in the same way, each desire tries to capture the heart to itself. thereby leading to that person's complete ruin and degradation. This is why all the scriptures and all the saints have declared desire, kamana, to be the greatest disease of the mind. Somebody may say, I don't think so. Anger is more dangerous than desire. A person gets angry, there's no telling what they will do. He can break the television, break the pot, break the wife's head, break the head of the children, the husband's head, can commit murder. Somebody gets a desire, on the other hand, they'll be restless for a little while and then they'll be okay. And then there's also greed, which is also more dangerous. But prajahati yada kaman sarvan parthamanogatan atmanyevatmanah tushta sthita pragyasta dochyate. Chapter 2, verse 55, Gita. If a person can give up all desires, prajahati yada kaman sarvan, Partha, Shri Krishna is saying to Arjuna, if a person can give up all desires, they will attain so much bliss, so much happiness. Atmanyevatmanah tushta, the bliss of the self. Vihaya kama yah sarvan puman shati nispriha nirmamo nirhankara sashanti madhigachati. Chapter 2, verse 71, Gita. Vihaya kaman yah sarvan. Puman, that person who gives up all desires. Nirmamo. He becomes free from proprietorship. In other words, he no longer feels I own anything or anyone. My house, my motor car, my bank balance. If something happens to that thing that you are so attached to that we think will give you happiness, the amount of happiness you get on the attainment of that person or object, so much suffering, pain and suffering you will get in the separation from it. The house burned down, oh Bhagwan, I'm going to die. Someone hit the motor car, I will kill you. Or someone has no ownership, no feeling of ownership, no problem. It's not mine. It all belongs to Bhagwan. If it's destined to be burned down, to be destroyed, it's going to happen. I can't do anything about it. Nirahankara. Doesn't have any feeling, any ego. Sashanti madhi attains, that person attains true bliss, true happiness. Yavat bhriyeta jatharam tavat sattvam hi dehinam adhikam yobi manyeta sastena dandam arhati. Srimad Bhagavat Mahapuran, 7 Canto, 14, chapter 8 verse. One doesn't have desire for anything more than that which is enough to upkeep himself and his family. He has no more desire for anything more than that. He's given up all desires. Bhajiya Ram sab kaam vihai. Ramayana. Give up all desires and worship the Lord. So desires has been stressed on everywhere. Bhagavad, Gita, Ramayana, everywhere. But what does desire do? Why it has been told to be But the question comes, desire is very dangerous, we agree. But what about greed and anger? What about greed and anger? Tulsidas ji says in the Ramayana, Kag Basundaji is saying to Garuji Maharaj, काम बात कफ लोभ अपारा क्रोध पित्त नित छाती जारा जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम प्रीति करही जो तीनी हूँ भाई बोलो उपजय संपात दुखदाई बोलो जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय काम बात कफ लोभ अपारा क्रोध पित्त नित छाती जारा काम क्रोध लोभ these three, there are many diseases in the mind, as I said, but these three are the generals of the army. They are the generals. Lust or desire, greed and anger. और प्रीति करई जौती निहु भाई. Tulsidas ji calls the three of them three bhai, three brothers. ये तीन भाई है. Gita they are called Narak ke, they are the doorway to Narak, to hell. These three. One who sustains, maintains these three, loves to get angry, loves to fulfill desires, loves to have greed. Upajai sanyapat dukhdai. That person suffers from a disease like hysteria and is only suffering and pain this tree will cause to him all the time. So, you're talking about desire, lust. What about greed and anger? They also been stressed in the scripture. The Gita gives the answer. The mother, the origin of both greed as well as anger is desire. Kamat krodho bhijayate. Chapter 2 verse 62 Gita. From desire comes anger, from desire comes greed. She is the mother. You see, a desire can either be, when a desire comes in your mind, either you can fulfill that desire or it can remain unfulfilled. You don't get what you want. When we fulfill a desire, when a desire is fulfilled, what happens? It gives rise to greed, lobh, which is ever increasing and insatiable. Bhagavad Mahapurana says, Na jatu kamaha kama nampabhoge na shamyati havishya krishna vardmeva bhuya eva bhivardhate. Bhagavad Mahapuran, 9th canto, 19th chapter, 14th verse. This is also said in Manusmriti. When we fulfill a desire, this the Bhagavad is saying, it's like pouring ghee, fuel and fire. You do havan. When you pour the ghee in the havan, Indraya namaha swaha, Agnaye namaha swaha, Vayave namaha swaha. When you pour that pure ghee, that cattle butter in the fire, what happens? Temporarily the fire goes down. And then it gets bigger. In the same way, when we fulfill a desire in the world, you feel like eating doubles. So you go around ways and you eat 12 doubles. Huh? Now I don't want any more doubles. And tomorrow, I want more doubles. You feel like eating ice cream? You buy a whole tub and eat the whole tub. Good. Satisfied. Now I want no more ice cream right now. Tomorrow, I want more ice cream. It increases. It brings greed. You know, some people say there are certain Babajis who pretend or claim to give material things to those who worship them. No Babaji, no one can give any material thing to someone that they do not deserve to acquire. Whatever we acquire materially in the world is as a consequence of some action we have performed in the past life. Avashyameva bhoktavyam kritam karma shubha shubham. Mahabharata. We cannot get more or less. Yadhatra nijabhala patta likhitam stoka madvadhanam tat prapnuti manusthale pinitaram merautato nadhikam. Tadhiro bhavittavatsu kripanam vritim kvithama kvitha kupe pasho payunidhavapi ghato ghinati tulyam jalam. Bhakti Hari. The amount of wealth we are supposed to acquire because you give dan in the past life or you didn't give will come to us easily without any effort. Because I give dan, charity. That's how you get wealth. Even if you're in the middle of a desert, Sahara desert, and you will get no more than you're supposed to, even if you were sitting on the Sumeru Parvat, mountain of gold. It's a very exact science. Play lotto day and night. You're not going to win, you're not going to win. Keep playing. People have played their whole life, died, and still nothing. And a guy decided to play one time and he won. Who's going to win is going to win. Whatever you're supposed to get, bhaiya, that's all you're going to get. Nothing more. Bhakti Hari gives the example of, he says someone takes a bucket, a container, and dips it in a pond, in a well, and you bring it up, it will only hold the amount of water it can hold and no more. So there are some people, why do people follow people? Because they think this Babaji can give me something. I went to this Babaji and my business was really bad and he blessed me and now I'm a millionaire. What usually happens, let's suppose 10 people go to this so-called Babaji saint and they happen to acquire some wealth, etc., that they were supposed to get according to their prarabdha. Coincidentally, it happened that they were supposed to get this because of their prarabdha, not because of Babaji. They start believing this saint, this Babaji has the power to grant anyone anything they desire, and so they start propagating this, advertising. The rest, who didn't benefit in any way at all, sometimes the majority, they just stop believing in that Baba, that saint. But they don't advertise it, they don't tell anyone. A lot of people, this is how we judge if somebody is a saint or Babaji, how much he can fulfill my worldly desire. No true saint, when a saint himself have renounced the world in favor of God in order to go to Bhagwan, why should he give it to you? He himself renounced the world, saying that all happiness can be found only in God, and now he's given the world to you. Just as a mother will not give a child a bottle of poison to play with, no matter how much the child cries and begs for it. In the same way, a true saint, the true guru, will never pretend to give us worldly poison in the form of worldly possessions. We only get more and more attached. Oh, I'm only giving it to them so that they'll believe in me. No, they are going to want more and more. The more of the world you give them, the more they want. The more you get, the more you want, bhaiya. That's the divine, that's the law. Nobody is satisfied. Even if someone is a billionaire, he still thinks, I want the next billion. He's never happy. The more you get, the more you want. And what happens when the desire is unfulfilled, when we don't get what we want? Somebody doesn't do what we say. They don't fulfill our desire, etc. What happens? We get angry. Krodh. And what happens when anger comes in the mind? Krodhat bhavati sammoha, sammohat smiti vibhramaha, smiti banshat buddhinashu buddhinashat pranashyati. Gita chapter 2 verse 63. Shri Krishna says, from anger comes delusion. From delusion, we lose our memory. When we lose the memory, we lose the power to discriminate, and everything is destroyed. When you get angry, let's suppose somebody did something to you. They said something about you, and you got really angry. You decide he has to pay. She has to pay. I'm going to give them a piece of my mind. I can't rest until I fix them. So you go and you catch hold of the person and you abuse them and insult them in the worst way. The most hurtful thing you can think about, you say. And the person starts crying. And you think, I fix him. Yeah, you fix them, but you fix yourself more. We have destroyed our own self. We don't think about the harm we do to ourselves. We do even more harm to ourselves. So whether we fulfill a desire or it remains unfulfilled, both are dangerous. Now, does desire have a root cause, a mother, an origin? If we can find that and destroy it, then we don't have to worry about greed, anger, jealousy, or any other mental disease. Find the root cause. There are weeds growing in the garden. You don't take a brush cutter and just chop them from the top. So in the same way, there's only one mother, one root cause of all desires. Root cause. That is called lagav, asakti, attachment. A saint is delivering a discourse, a divine on divinity, glorifying the Lord. Hour has gone in the lecture. Some people sitting in the audience starts thinking, oh my God, maybe he will go on talking for 2 hours. All right, no problem. But I'm so bored. If I get a cup of coffee, if I get a cigarette, a Coke, I'll be okay again. Then he can talk for 2 hours, no problem. Because of these people's desire for the attachment to that object, the cigarette, the coffee, the drink, the Coke, the desire for it is born again and again at intervals. It keeps pinching from inside. Drink me, smoke me, smoke me. And the more you use it, the more you want it. Somebody drinks only 1 cup of coffee for the day, he's fine. And a person drinks coffee the whole day, tea the whole day. If you don't get a cup, they're going crazy. Jittery. And somebody never drank coffee or tea, they don't care. What's the big thing? Look at it another way. Is there pleasure in looking at beautiful things? Yes. Love to look at beautiful flowers, the sunset. Sometimes I'm in the car with devotees. Oh, look. Oh, so beautiful. Oh, so romantic. I don't know. Maybe I don't have eyes for those things. Anyhow. So, yes, there's pleasure. We get happiness. Do we get happiness in sweet smelling things? The rose, nice perfume? Yes. I passed by this fella. I passed by that girl. My God, so sweet. In bad smelling things? A dead dog? No. Does alcohol smell good or does it smell bad? Oh, it smells very bad, man. And you ask an alcoholic? Oh, wow. Nothing smells better than alcohol and rum. A child's nose is running. The mother in her love kisses the child right where the nose is running. Another person looking on, thinks, oh my God, how can she not scorn the child? A person in love, attached, finds sweet smell where there is bad smell and beauty where there is ugliness. So beauty or sweet smell does not give happiness. You can see all the sunset and all. People think, if this Trinidad doesn't have so much place to see, man. I heard about a place called America, Switzerland, England. I feel if I go there, I'll be real happy. Visa, it gets very hard to get the visa nowadays to go America. You get the visa, you work hard, you get a ticket, and you fly all the way to America, and you land over there. But it's just the same thing like in Trinidad, grass, tree. What is this? We keep thinking, if I see this, if I see that. There are people who leave countries that you are dying to go to come and see Trinidad. Huh? You know that? Tourism is a big thing in Trinidad and Tobago. So they make a lot of the finances through tourism. The beaches, etc. There's a big, bazaar, right? A fair, a mela. Big fair. Thousands of people have come. Not in COVID time. Normal time. Thousands of people have come. beggar woman comes with her son. And as it happens, a lot of time in that big crowd, children get misplaced. The child went running somewhere and she lost her son. She goes and looks for the child, the son, and she can't find. Now in that fair, there's a police booth. So she goes to the police booth and she tells the policeman, I have lost. Describes the son as being one-eyed, lame, having a cleft on the lip, very black. In other words, very ugly. Lady, there are so many beautiful children here. Itne sundar, sundar bachche. Please embrace one and get some happiness. Your son is so ugly. That beggar lady says, policeman, what do you know? It's only when I see that one-eyed son of mine, I'll be able to eat my food. If there was happiness in beauty, then that lady, seeing so many beautiful children, should have embraced sanjati kamaha kamat krodho bhijayate. Gita, chapter 2, verse 62. So number one, attachment. Number two, attachment is fulfill, it gives rise. Number one, attachment. From attachment, desires. Number two, desire. Number three, if a desire is fulfilled, greed. Number four, if it's unfulfilled, anger. The root cause is attachment. Now, why do we get attached to any person or object? This is a reason for attachment. How does attachment come? So that verse I just told you from Gita, chapter 2, verse 62, the first line. Dhyayato vishayan punsa sangaste shupajayate. When we think again and again about any person or object, listen carefully. When we think again and again, attain happiness from the acquirement of any person or object, we get attached. You call it addiction, you call it love, attachment, different names. Nobody becomes a chain smoker overnight. Nobody gets addicted to weed and coke overnight. Nobody becomes an then every Monday and Friday, then every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, then every day, now you're an alcoholic. You've become addicted. Same thing with the weed. Same thing with the coke. Same thing with the cigarette. Nobody's born a chain smoker. When you were young, you saw others smoking. Your peers, elders, a parent thought this is a sign of being grown up, a sign of being a gentleman, gentlewoman. You decide, I'm going to take a smoke too. On smoking the first cigarette, you cough and almost choke on it. But you keep smoking because you think it will give you happiness. Then you become a chain smoker. And you keep thinking again and again. Same thing, again and again. This is a boy, this is a girl. You keep thinking. And then, now you get attached. Now food doesn't have any more taste for you. You can't sleep, you don't want food, nothing. You only get happiness when you see that boy, that girl. And you happen to maybe get married to them. Before you get married, you acted. And so does she. Nobody shows their true side before marriage. You acted and she also did. Or he also did. But how long are you going to act for? After marriage, you show your true side and she shows her true side also. And that's a problem. I married you to make me happy and you don't care about me. But you will say, I also married you for you to make me happy. Or something will make me happy. Does this also have a reason? A root cause? As I said, we have to go to the very end. Then we can solve it. Do something about it. Yes, this has a reason also. I've told you before, it's a natural law that every fraction, every path has a the whole and wants to become one with it. All rivers naturally flow to the ocean, being a fraction of the ocean. If you look at the flame of a fire, it naturally rises upwards, being a fraction of the sun. We are the individual souls. राम प्राण प्रिय जीवन जी के स्वार्थ रहित सखा सब ही के बोल राम राम ईश्वर अंश जीव अविनाशी. The Jivatma, the soul, who we are, not the body, we're a soul, Atma, is a fraction, Ansh, a part of God. Chinmatam Shri Hare. So, it means we naturally love and want only Shri Krishna. Being we are eternal fractions, the natural law that every part, every fraction has a natural love for the whole and wants to become one. Loke nahi sa vidyet yonarama manubrataha. Valmiki Ramayana. Valmiki ji says in the Valmiki Ramayana, it is impossible to find an individual soul that does not truly love and want God. In the Ramayana also, Tusidasi says in the Ramayana, Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram As ko jeeva jantu jagmahi Jehi Raghunath Pran Priya Nahi. In this Chaupai, Tusidas ji, he's included both the animate as well as inanimate beings. And he says to all of them, Sri Ram, God is as dear as life. And who is God? What is God? The Vedas tell us, Raso vai sahara sagwam hevayam labdhva nandi bhavati. Taittiriya Upanishad, chapter 2, verse 7. God is ras, bliss, happiness. Anando brahmeti vajanat. Krishna is happiness. That's why we all want only happiness. We're looking for it in the wrong place. From beginningless time, we have been looking for happiness where it cannot be found. In the material world, a person, an object, girl, a boy, a weed, a marijuana, alcohol, new car, new house, somebody, a pet. In the world. This nature of ours to look for happiness everywhere and in everything, no one can destroy. Neither God, nor a saint, nor the Rakshas. individual soul to do. To make the decision in the mind that the happiness I'm looking for, I will not find in the material world, in any person or object, not even in heaven. I will find it only in God, in Sri Krishna. The individual soul cannot make that decision. Impossible. This will only come to us when we associate with the true Guru, the saint. That's why Guru is so important. And that's why Tulsidas ji tells us in the Ramayana, Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Bolo Ram,
Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Bolo Ram, Siya Ram,
Jai Jai Ram.
Punya Punja Binu Milahi na Santa Sat Sangati Sanshriti Karanta. Bolo Ram,
Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Bolo Ram.
Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Binu Sat Sanga Vivek na hoi. Sat Sang. Sat means saint. Saint, God realized, the true Guru. Only when we associate with the true saint in the right way, we will get that true knowledge. It will come and sit in the intellect, in our heart. Grace. Punya Punja Binu Milahina Santa. Bhagwan Sri Ram himself is saying to the residents of Ayodhya, after many, many lifetimes, we have performed great, great spiritual deeds. Punya. And it's become a huge amount. Punja. God showers His grace and we meet the saint, the Santa. Or Satasangati Sansritikara Anta. And when we associate Satasangati, when we associate in the right way with that saint, Sansritikara Anta, our attachment for the material world will come to an end. The knowledge will come. Without true knowledge, detachment cannot happen. And without detachment, we cannot get attached to Bhagwan. So when the knowledge and love will become attached to Sri Krishna, when we get attached to the world, we'll get the world. We'll keep rotating in 8.4 million forms of life. When we get attached to Sri Krishna or a saint who is Sri Krishna personified, we'll go to the divine abode of Sri Krishna. We cannot get rid of attachment. You get rid of attachment, you become detached from the world. The time would remain pendant, and you bring it and attach it to Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna himself says to Uddhav, Vishayandhataschittam vishayeshu visajjate ma manusmarataschittam mayeva praviliyate. Bhagavad Mahapuran, 11 canto, 14th chapter, 27 verse. Bhagavad is so important. We go into many mandirs, etc. We have gotten assurances from quite a few mandirs, but there may be spaces still left. If you desire to be part of this great spiritual journey, this yatra, this great blessing, once in a lifetime thing, then please do contact us. You can contact Pandit Satyananda Maharaj of Bhakti TV. He's also on Facebook. Pandit Satyananda Maharaj. You can search on Facebook. You'll get all his contact details. Please contact him. Let him know and he'll tell you if there's space left and what you have to do, etc. So 11 canto, 14 chapter, 27 verse. Bhagavad Mahapuran, Shri Krishna is saying to Uddhav. This is called Uddhav Gita. Uddhav is questioning, Shri Krishna is giving answer. Shri Krishna says, just like in the world, practice is the same. The way of practice, the method is the same, and the result is the same. What is the result? The heart, the mind gets attached. And we attain that for which the heart, the mind becomes attached. You get attached to the world, you'll have to come back, as we have been doing from beginningless time, rotating in the 8.4 million forms. We get attached to Krishna, we'll attain Shri Krishna. So we don't worry about, look, in the path of bhakti, we don't get rid of anything. Greed, anger, jealousy, hatred, that's all to be very bad when